How's it going, gang? It's the final render here, and welcome to another news video on Fallout 76. We're getting very close to QuakeCon now, where we're probably going to get some new footage, hopefully, and I am really looking forward to going ahead and sharing some of this news just before QuakeCon, because it means they're starting to get the hype train going again. You know, they got this, then they got QuakeCon, and it's starting to get pretty exciting again. But this is some interesting new news because it is from Bethesda themselves. Most of the time we've got new news about Fallout 76, it's typically from people responding to tweets or by having interviews done by people who made the game on various news websites, etc. But this is directly on the bethesda.net website, and we haven't had any new news straight from Bethesda themselves for about a week and a half or so. So it's good to know that we're getting some more information right now. And this new information comes from the frequently asked questions page. This page has been out and available for you guys to go ahead and see since the game was actually announced at E3. But this new information has gone ahead and really answered some questions which people really wanted to know for quite a while. Now, most of these questions are kind of the same that people have actually seen for a while. It is just, how do I access the beta? How do I go ahead and activate my code if I've got one? I haven't got a code, how do I get one? Yeah, most of the questions on the frequently asked page are all about that. However, the new information we have got is down on these bottom ones. So, let's start with the first one. Will beta feedback be incorporated into the game? A lot of people were very worried that it wasn't actually going to be accepting feedback, the beta I mean, because it is so close to the actual launch of the game. The beta comes out in October, and the full game is released mid-November. So a lot of people were very worried, saying, is this beta just to test for servers? Or is it going to actually incorporate our feedback and what we think the game needs in order to make us, the players, really enjoy it? And the answer is, absolutely. With an online game like Fallout 76, your feedback is essential. Whether if it's provided now, during the beta, at launch, or beyond, we need to constantly update the game based on what players are experiencing. Some people may kind of speculate that this is kind of a very canned media answer. It's just, yes, of course we will. What are you talking about? Of course we will. But at the same time, I do think it needed to be in there because a lot of people were just kind of saying, it's clearly just going to be a stress test then. They're not actually going to be accepting new ideas and stuff like that. Let's say if there's a gun which is so overpowered that it's almost not worth bothering with the other guns, player feedback will definitely go ahead and give them that answer. Because when you make something, it's very hard to go ahead and see the right from the wrong sometimes. You need fresh eyes, i.e. players, to go ahead and let you know if something is wrong, because you might just be blinded to it because you've been working on it for so long, you know? So it's good to know that it is not just a stress test, they actually are going to be submitting user feedback, or receiving user feedback, I should say. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about this one in particular, because a lot of people have been saying, final render, you handsome man stud, will you be going ahead and streaming the beta? Or will you not be allowed to? Will there be an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement? Okay, so I was always pretty certain that there wasn't going to be an NDA, but here it has been answered. The beta will not be under an NDA. You can post screenshots, stream, make videos, whatever you like. This is obviously nice to know because whilst I was pretty certain it wasn't going to have an NDA, it's nice to know that we've actually heard it straight from them now, because some people were saying, I would like to get the beta to stream it, but I don't actually know if I'll be allowed to. Well, there's your answer. You can go ahead and stream the game as much as you want. And the next one here has definitely got people's feathers kind of riled up, this one here. This is something we've wanted to know for a while, and that is, what platforms will the Fallout 76 beta be available? Now, that question in itself seems pretty obvious. It's like, yeah, it's going to be on Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. But there is a bit of information in here which a lot of people have been asking for a long time. Both the beta and the game will be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC via bethesda.net only. Stay tuned for the exact beta timing for each platform here and at Fallout on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please note the beta will begin on Xbox One first, followed by other platforms. Now, the interesting thing here, it's via bethesda.net only. So far, the only way to buy the game or to pre-order the game has been to pre-order a physical copy or to go ahead and pre-order a digital copy on the stores on your PlayStation or on your Xbox. But on the PC, there's typically two markets where you can get Bethesda games. There's bethesda.net and there is Steam. But here it says bethesda.net only. So now we can kind of confirm that there is no Steam release for Fallout 76. Now, Before you start sharpening your pitchforks and lighting your torches, I can see the comments already. Here's the thing, people. Does it actually make a difference? Some people may say I sound like kind of like a Bethesda fanboy here, but here's the honest truth. Does it actually matter? Think about back when Battlefield 3 was first announced and launched, and you could only get it via Origin. You couldn't go ahead and get it via Steam. People were angry for about a week. And then that's it. Nobody cared after that. It was totally fine. Nobody actually had any kind of trouble, basically, because it was on a new platform. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal that it's not out on Steam, but I do think there would be some distinct advantages to having it on Steam. For example, people on Steam on PC typically have all of their friends already friended on Steam, whereas on Bethesda.net, as of right now at least, there's no friend list functionality. So I presume you would have an in-game Fallout 76 friends list on Bethesda.net, because on Bethesda.net itself you can't go ahead and actually friend people. You can follow people if they make mods and stuff like that, so they can go ahead and integrate like a friends list or a following system, but as of right now, there isn't one. And another reason why some people might have wanted it on Steam is because you might have actually had some Steam credits saved up, so you could go ahead and get the game that way. But no, it is available on Bethesda.net only. Another thing which people were kind of talking about, saying that if it's on Bethesda.net only, does that mean all Bethesda titles will only be available on Bethesda.net from now on? I suppose really that depends on how well the game sells, doesn't it? I mean, you can go ahead and put it on your own website and say, this is the only way to buy it, so you have to go ahead and do it via our system, and that's worked for people like EA and stuff like that. But I do guarantee it could be a bit of a risk for the sales, because sometimes people say, oh, there's a new Fallout game, I'll quickly type in Steam. Oh, it's not there. I guess, well, I don't know where it is, you know, and they just might not buy it for that reason, if they're, say, not looking at news and stuff, say they're just kind of more casual fans of the Fallout franchise. So, it is a bit of a risk. And it could still come back to Steam. I mean, a lot of the games which are on Bethesda.net do eventually come to Steam. Great example, Fallout Shelter. It was originally only available on the Apple devices, wasn't it? And then later on it came out onto the Android market, and then it came out onto Bethesda.net, and then it came out onto Steam, and also PlayStation 4, etc. So, it will probably come out on Steam eventually, if they need to. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be a problem, and I don't necessarily think that this is evidence that all Bethesda games from now on will be available only via Bethesda.net. But even if that is the case, I still don't think it's that big of a deal, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now that has been answered, there is also another thing here which I've really wanted to know for quite a while actually, and that is the beta going to be the full game, or will my progress carry over to launch? Our current plan is that the beta will be the full game and your progress is saved for launch. We hope you join us. So, this is very interesting, people, because let's not kind of hide this or kind of coat this in some other way. This basically means the game isn't out in November, it's out in October. You know, you've got the full game when the beta starts, and you can play the entire game, and even when the game launches, you still keep all of your progress. So basically, we can kind of confirm that the game is out in October, you know? You can go ahead and pre-order it and just pretend that that's its actual launch date if you wanted to, because the game just carries on to its full extent. I was really speculating that if it was just the beta, then maybe they would go ahead and maybe only let you into certain areas, maybe 3 of the 5 main regions you could go to. That way you won't go ahead and have somebody do a complete let's play of the entire game in the first few days of the beta, which would be pretty sucky if you really want to go ahead and let people play it early, so to speak, and break it early. They might just watch someone instead rather than pre-ordering it, you know what I mean? But I think this just basically means the game is out in October, basically. Sure, it will be a bit buggier than the one which is out in November. If you still want to hold off until November, I totally understand, because if you do that, then you will get a more polished version than the guys who play it in October. But it does just basically mean the game is out in October, you know, let's face it. Everything you can do in the game will be available in October by the sounds of it. And I do like the fact that you will actually carry on and your progression will stay after it is started. Some people don't like the fact that this progression will kind of stay, because if your progression stays, people are saying, well, if I buy it on the official launch day, it means the game is already going to be full of like level 50 people trying to kill me and stuff like that. Well, realistically, there's always going to be someone higher level than you. Even if you all buy the game on the same day, you're always going to find people higher level than you very, very quickly. Some people, literally day one, will start playing it and not stop playing it for like 4 days straight. And there will always be someone higher level than you. So honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. If anything, it just means that if you want to play it in October, you can, basically. So, that is some of the brand new news on Fallout 76. And this has answered quite a few interesting questions, as I said. We now know from this new news that the game will carry on once the actual beta has ended, and the game is basically launching in October, not November. It's just a slightly unpolished version in October. We now know that it is not available on Steam, at least at launch. You know, sometimes they do go ahead and get launched on Steam much later, which I think is good. We know there is no NDA. You can stream and record and make videos and do whatever you want during the beta, which is absolutely fantastic. And we now know, of course, that feedback will be integrated during the beta. It is not just a stress test of the servers, which I think has made a lot of people happy, myself included. I was worried it was just going to be a place to just go ahead and test for servers. But no, we have actually got official ways to go ahead and submit feedback. We don't know how easy that will be. Sometimes they make it really hard to go ahead and submit feedback during a beta. Sometimes they make it very easy. Subnautica is a great example. You can just hit F8 and then an option will appear on screen saying what's the problem. And it will also send a screenshot to the developers so they can fix it immediately. Great way to go ahead and submit your feedback that way. Hopefully Fallout 76 has something similar, just like one button you can press to submit an error. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video, guys. It's been a good one, this one. I feel as if we got some good information out, and I will see you in the next video. Remember to check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below who help support the channel with their financial donations. You yourself, of course, can also do the same. And, of course, now we can definitely confirm that I will be streaming Fallout 76 as soon as I have my hands on it. It comes out on Xbox first, obviously. I'm playing it on PC, but I will be going ahead and playing the Fallout 76 beta the moment it is released for me. We might do like a 12-hour live stream of that. And also, guys, remember to go ahead and follow me on Discord and stuff like that. You know, it's a really good way to go ahead and talk to me and other people in the Renderlings community. And I'll see you around. This has been the final render, and you've been the audience. Until next time, farewell.